comfortable seat. And as you find that comfortable seat again, just take the time to notice today how your body's feeling. So there's one of the ancient yoga texts that the very first thing that it says, the very first part of it says that right now yoga has begun, or right now the practice of yoga has begun. And the purpose of that is to recognize that in each and every moment, right now in this moment, right now in this moment, right now in this moment, is an opportunity for yoga. And so in this moment, right here, right now, tune into what's going on in your body, because what it's doing now is different than what it was doing yesterday and what it will be doing tomorrow, right? So as you make yourself comfortable, as you find that easeful seat that we've been talking about, shift your sitting bones. And I don't know if you just noticed, I just plugged in some blocks underneath my knees because, well, I hiked yesterday, so things are a little sore. So as you rest your hands down, draw your shoulders up and back and let your eyes close and tune into this moment right here, right now in your body. Taking a full deep inhale and exhale in and out of the nose, which is that evenly balancing breath that sometimes we forget. Sometimes we lose this breath that fully allows our entire system to balance out. And so coming to our mats is that opportunity to come back to that balance and come back to this present moment. And as you sit just a little taller, and as you add just a little bit of shifting and moving in the body to sense things a little bit better, tune into what it is that's showing up. Sensations, aches, pains, stiffness, or maybe just thoughts. Then connect hands together at heart center and gently press them together enough to allow your elbows to lift up. Then draw shoulder blades to connect onto your back. Take a deep inhale here. And exhale, bow toward your heart. From this place, bowing toward your heart, keep your shoulder blades engaged. And then start to gently shake your head no toward your fingertips. Then inhale, lift your gaze, release your hands down. Keep your shoulders up and back, shoulder blades engaging, and slowly shake your head no. Then as your head comes over to the right side, tuck your chin down, take a hold of the back of your neck, or back of your head rather, with your right hand. Move your left shoulder blade onto your back and even take a gratitude position with your left arm here. Allowing that rotation of your upper arm bone, your thumb moving toward the back of your room. Allowing for a little bit more expansion through the front part of the chest and an engagement through the shoulder blade. And now up and down movement with your shoulder blade on the left side. Inhale, come back up to center. And exhale, turn your head over to the left side, tuck your chin down. Take a hold of the back of your head with your left hand. Right shoulder blade moves onto your back, and then take that gratitude position with your right arm. And again, move your thumb back, rotating with your upper arm bone, feeling that engagement through your shoulder blade, but also the expansion through the front part of your chest, your pec. Take a big, deep breath. And then up and down movement here with your right shoulder blade. And then releasing your hands, come back into center. And now take ear to shoulder a few times. And then as your head comes over to the right side, again, keep it there. Take a hold of the side of your head here. And now we're going to move our neck muscles and our jawline out to the left. So holding onto your head, physically move your neck muscles out to the left, your jawline out to the left. A little bit of a different stretch there. Take a big deep breath. Inhale, come back up to center. Exhale, left ear to left shoulder. Take a hold of the side of your head with your left hand. And again, neck muscles and jawline are going to move out to the right. And as you move them out to the right, you can sense how this side feels. Notice if there's any difference in sensation there for you. Take a deep breath. Inhale, come back into center. Hands clasp, pull forward with your arms and round back through your upper back. Your chin tucks in. And then add a few movements here with your shoulders, getting a little bit more into your upper back, maybe down into your lats a little bit. Inhale, sit tall. Switch the cross of your legs, coming to the less comfortable cross for yourself. And now move your sitting bones. Turn your palms open, letting your shoulder blades move onto your back. Inhale, lift your arms overhead. Take a hold of your right wrist with your left hand and stretch over to the left side. And as you do so, anchor your right sitting bone down. Take a big deep breath here and begin to pull back with your right ribs. As you do that, your gaze can start to turn a little bit downward. Think of a lot of length and expansion through your right side, through your right back body. Deep breath. Starting to pull in that diagonal with your right hand toward the left side. Inhale, come back up to center, switching wrists. Exhale over to the right side with that side stretch. Anchor your left sitting bone down and then begin to draw in with your left low ribs. Expanding into your left back, your left side. Take a full deep breath. Inhale, come back up to center, release your arms, bring your hands behind to clasp, or you can always take fists to your low back. Lift your shoulders up and back, lift up at the back of your neck, and then take a couple big breaths, starting to lift your chest up. Think of low ribs lifting up. As you lift your low ribs up, engage low belly and low ribs. Inhale, big expansion through your heart space. And exhale, release, coming back to that tall spine. Go ahead and shift forward, coming onto hands and knees. And from hands and knees, take a really big breath, setting yourself up, wrists under shoulders, knees under hips. Rotate elbow pits forward and push. Now, as you come to this expansion through your upper back, start to move through your low back and your hips, swaying them side to side. Stay strong and expanded through your shoulders, even as your hips move, allowing for a little length of hip to armpit on one side, hip to armpit on the other side. Big toes come together, knees wide, settle hips back towards your heels, and then walk your hands over to the left side. Feel free to stack your right hand on top of your left if that feels good. Feel free to set your head down or someplace where it's comfortable and take a deep breath. Again, into your right side, all the way into your right hip. And then walk your hands over to the right. You can stack your left hand on top if that feels good. And then take that big breath into your left side. Then inhale back into center. Come up to hands and knees. And from hands and knees, set yourself up again. Wrists under shoulders, knees under hips. Elbow pits, rotate forward, push. And now this time reach back with your right leg. Turn open with your right hip. Bend your right knee, push it toward, push your heel toward the left side. Deep, full breath. On your exhale, set your right knee back on the ground. Inhale, stretch back with your left leg, turning open with your left hip. Bend your left knee and push your heel toward the right side. Again, stay strong and expanded through your upper back. On your exhale, your left knee comes back down. And now you're gonna rise up to your tall knees. So you're up high. This is what we called it in preschool. I often realize that adults don't necessarily call it tall knees, but you're kneeling and then you rise up tall. So if you want, you can put a blanket underneath your knees. We're gonna stretch our right leg out to the right side. Left knee is directly underneath your left hip. Hands to your hips. And then I'll move things so you can see a little bit better. But my right foot on this side, because this tends to be my weak ankle, is flexed completely so that my pinky toe edge is lifted. If your ankle feels okay and stable, then you can set your entire foot down, but aim your toes forward. This provides a rotation of your inner thigh that helps your low back be expanded. So now, with your hands at your hips, lift up tall, and then reach your left arm straight up. From this place, reach even further. Try to reach it beyond that point, pushing down through your left knee and up through your left hand. Now, walk your right hand down your leg. Notice I have a bend to my elbow here. I'm not going to put my hand directly on my knee, but it'll be on my thigh or my hip. Reach up and then start to stretch over. And as you stretch over, keep your left shoulder from turning down. Keep it opening up. Take a big breath into your left side. Good, inhale, rise back up. And now if you want, you can have a block for your left hand. We're gonna bring our left hand down to the floor or our block. So we're taking that little side or the side plank variation here that's a little bit more gentle for our bodies to come to. Put your left shoulder blade onto your back and maybe stretch your right arm up. And as you stretch up, think of pushing in both directions. And now push down with your standing knee. Good, engage your right foot. And if you want to, you can stretch over your ear for a little bit longer stretch through your right side body. Big deep breath. Good, top hand back to your hip and rise back up to your tall knees. We'll get a block ready for us on this side, just in case you want it. That side. Left leg reaches out to the left side. And again, toes aimed forward as opposed to the side. And if you want to, you can always set your entire foot down if that's okay on your ankle, okay? So right knee is stacked under your right hip, hands to your hips. Lift your sides, lift up and open through your shoulders, and then stretch straight up with your right arm. From this place, you can start to walk your left hand down your leg. And again, remember, no resting on the knee joint. That's the only rule here. Lift your ribs, lift your heart, and then stretch as deeply as your body is ready for, opening up through your right side, keeping your right shoulder open. Take a big breath. Inhale, rise back up. And now we're taking right hand to a block or to the floor, your choice. So that variation of our side plank pose, your wrist actually gets to be a little bit diagonally out from your shoulder. So instead of stacked directly, because this pose is at an angle, so is our hand and our arm. Stretch straight up if that's in your practice. Take a big deep breath and reach higher. Push down more. Put both shoulder blades on your back, and then if you want to, you can stretch left arm over your ear. Big breath. Good, top hand back to your hip. And inhale, rise all the way back up, both knees back to the ground. Big toes together, knees wide, and settle back into a child's pose for a couple of deep breaths. Then inhale, rise to your hands and your knees. Rotate elbow pits forward and push. Tuck your toes under. Lift your hips up and back for a downward facing dog pose. Take a deep breath. And if down dog this morning is just a little bit much, feel free to stay on your hands and knees. But then move hips a little side to side. You can do that from hands and knees as well. Getting longer from hip to armpit. And then from either hands and knees or down dog, walk your feet forward, coming into your forward fold at the front of your mat. Feel free to grab blocks here for yourself if you want. Little bend to your knees. Take an inhale and lengthen part way. Send your sitting bones up. Exhale, fold over your legs. Bent knees, reach arms wide. Inhale, rise all the way up to stand. And exhale, hands come to your heart. Take a moment to close your eyes. Tune into this present moment in your body, in your mind. Full inhale, long, deep exhale, in and out of the nose. Then softly open your eyes and come to a wide stance on your mat. And if you need to turn sideways, that's okay. And as you take your wide stance on your mat, take a look at the outside edges of your feet and turn them to parallel to each other. So pinky toe edges parallel. Might mean that your toes feel like they're turning in a little bit more than you're used to, but it opens up the low back considerably here. So a little bit similar to what we just did with our feet in our gate pose. So hands to your hips, lift and spread your toes, lift your arches up, little bend to your knees, take an inhale and lift your chest. Exhale and fold over your legs. Feel free to have blocks here for your hands to come to, or you can rest your elbows, or you can come all the way down to the ground with your hands or your elbows, wherever that is for you, and then gently pedal back and forth, bending one knee, then bending the other knee, allowing for a little bit more movement and space to happen in the low back, the hips, the hamstrings. And now back into center with your legs. Bend your knees, hands come to your hips. Draw shoulders up and then inhale, rise using your glutes to help you. Now turn right foot out to face the right side, bend into your right knee and reach your arms for your warrior two. Take a big deep breath here in your warrior. Remember, open that right knee up and bend into it. Find the stacked place. You can adjust your stance where you need to, where your shin is stacked over your arch. Hands come behind your back to clasp. Big opening through your chest. Expand, take a deep breath. Now releasing your hands and take your arms overhead. Stay bent into your front knee. Take a hold of your right wrist and stretch back, finding that reverse place here. Take a big breath. Open your right shoulder. Inhale, rise back to your warrior two. Hands come to your hips. Work your right leg towards straight and then turn your foot forward. Turn your left foot out to the left side. Bending into your left knee, again, find that stacked place, shin straight up and down. And again, you can always adjust your stance because we're not symmetrical beings. So it might not be the same as the other side. Open your knee up, lift your ribs, lift your chest, expand your arms outward, take a full breath. Then hands behind your back to clasp, lift shoulders up and back, expanding through your chest, take a deep breath. Then inhale, reach your arms up overhead, clasp your left wrist and stretch back to the right side. Big breath. Open your left shoulder, open your left knee. Inhale back to warrior two. Hands to your hips. Work your legs towards straight and then turn your feet to parallel. Inhale, lift your heart, and exhale, bent knees to fold over your legs as deeply as your body needs. So again, hands underneath your shoulders if you want, or you can reach your hands back behind your legs to do a little bit of pull, or hold on to your legs here. Inhale, slight lift to lengthen. Exhale and fold. Take a moment and tilt your sitting bones up. Extend your chest. Take one more big breath. Hands to hips. Push your hips back, start to lift up and open through your chest and rise all the way up. Good. And then walk your feet in, coming to inner hip distance apart and parallel. Inhale, reach your arms overhead. Exhale, fold over your legs. Inhale and lengthen. Exhale, fold. Let your hands and step back, downward facing dog pose. Take a big breath, tilting sitting bones up, broadening through the upper arm bones. Then knees come down, hips come to your heels, take a child's pose. And then add a little bit of movement here. And if your head is resting down on something, then maybe that movement even happens through your neck and your shoulders. A little rocking side to side over your forehead. And then gently push yourself up to a seat. Come all the way to your sitting bones. Grab your blanket and find the long fold and then roll the long fold up. And then set that at the head of your mat where your head is going to go. Make sure you can reach all of your props. And then come to lay all the way down. And as you lay down, set that blanket underneath your neck. Arms open to a T or whatever is comfortable for your arms here. Palms are facing up. And then start to gently rock your head back and forth. Knees are bent here. Feet are on the floor if that's comfortable. You can always extend your legs all the way if you want. That feels better to you. And then straight up ahead toward the ceiling with your gaze, nod your head. And as you nod your head, just notice if your tendency is to try to lift anything. See if you can find that movement of your head, keeping your neck down and your head down the whole time. Then turning your head over to the left and nod your head. And turn your head to the right and nod. And then come back into center here. And if your legs are extended, bend your knees now, and you're going to pick your right knee up into your chest. Keep your left knee bent with your foot on the floor. Open your right knee up to the right side and aim your foot toward the ceiling. Right hand comes to either the back of your thigh, your shin, or to your foot for a half happy baby pose here. Wherever it is, you're going to push up into your hand and pull back with your hand. And then tilt your pelvis. So you're trying to tilt your sitting bones down. And now open your left knee up to the left side. So you're rocking onto the pinky toe edge of your left foot. Flex both feet. Keep them active. Take a big deep breath. And now back into center, releasing both feet to the ground. Draw your left knee into your chest, open it up to the left side, and then aim your foot up toward the ceiling. And again, hold on where you need to. Basically, it's wherever you can keep that tilt of your pelvis. So from wherever you are, find that tilt. So it's like your low back is trying to lift up and your sitting bones are trying to reach down. And then open your right knee up to the right side. Keep a little push and pull with your left hand and your left foot. Big, full, deep breath. And now gently set both feet on the ground. Drop your knees in together to touch, so you may have to take your feet out a little wider. Take your hands right up to your hip creases and give a push so much that your pelvis tilts. Maybe your low back lifts a little bit more off the ground, but then add a little bit of movement here, a little swivel through your pelvis, your sacrum. Take 3 more deep breaths right here. And then begin to set yourself up into your favorite version of Shavasana or your resting pose. You might add a bolster underneath your legs or underneath your hips. You might take butterfly with blocks underneath your knees or thighs. You might keep your knees bent and touching, especially if you have a lot of tension through your low back. Take some full big breaths wherever that is for you. Begin to take a deeper breath. Gently add a little bit of movement. As you're ready to, bend your knees and roll to one side. And slowly make your way back up to your seat. Connecting palms together at heart center. With your eyes closed, take another moment with your breath in this moment. Have a very peaceful, very beautiful rest of your day. Namaste. Thanks, everybody.